What's up, guys? Time to show off a new build. I've had some requests for orange, so didn't really have any orange dials, and I didn't have anything lasered where it gave off a lot of orange, so we just did some accentuating with orange. I had a set of bead blast, and I really wanted to use it to give a little bit more variety to the watches tonight. So bead blasted case. I've got a bead blasted tapered link band, so it goes from 22 to 20. Bead blasted crown, bead blasted milled caseback, and Atlas bezel. So all those items have been bead blasted, and then I went back, and you can see right along these edges, I took sandpaper and hit those lines to give it just a little bit of a pop of shine. I did it on the backside too. It's not very abundant, but I thought it looks pretty cool. The one thing I noticed on one of my bead blasted cases is I always wear the beads on the side, and they slowly rub on it, and what it does is it kind of polishes this side, and it kind of looks cool, but this side isn't. So I thought that would be really cool to figure out a way to get a good polish on there, but I didn't want to just sand this off and put lines in it. So but what's cool with this is if you nick it or whatever, it just kind of gives it a little bit of a pop of color, and it's normally done on the edges anyway. So did it on the bezel, did it on the sides of the band, just fully on the sides, just to use like a polishing, just to give it a little bit of contrast. I did a set of PloProf-esque hands. The white hand that I had a tip to it, and normally with PloProf it's a hard edge. So I cut it and sanded it, and that also helped to make sure it cleared all the numbers because it sits a little bit lower. And with these accents, it's set up a little bit more for a shorter hour hand. So this is a sunburst silver with a Kraken at the 7/8, Kraken engraved crown, milled caseback and clasp, orange minute insert, and that's the build. Bezel will turn left, it'll turn right. You'll feel it feels a little, it's not that bead blast kind of gives it kind of a cool feel, but over time it'll get real smooth. And you can always use gun oil on this. That's actually what I did. I ran gun oil over the whole thing, and it just gives it a nice smooth feel to it. Automatic mechanical, you got a rotor in the back here, but if you're not going to be very active, make sure you wind it just a little bit. Back the crown off the threads until you hear it and feel it clicking, and at that point you can wind. And a wind is a turn that way. Turning it back towards you doesn't do anything, but it's a lot easier to keep your finger spacing and go back and forth. If you do that for 4 or 5 seconds before you put it on, that mixed with the rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day. But if you know you're not going to be moving, driving, etc., you can wind it up for another 4 or 5 seconds and max out your 31-hour power reserve on it. You cannot overwind it, so don't worry about that. And when you're happy with your winding, you're going to pull it to the 1 and only click. And at that point, you can set your time. It does not have a hacking movement, so it's going to keep going on you. And you'll also notice you've got a wobble crown. This deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement, so when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressures on anything. Okay, Google, what time is it? 2:26 p.m. Then when you're good, you're going to push it over and get it out of that time setting. And then wind it down. And that is your build. As with every build, it's going to come with matching beads. We have some that just have that really cool kind of, distressed gray look, more of a matte finish. This is going to come in a new BVW Kraken slider box. So, slider box with one of my new pillows. This build will come with Watch Foamer, which is a cleaner. It's good on all glass and metal parts, so everything here, everything you see, non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, as well as a microfiber. And then you will also get some fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon. It's just repackaged. It's like Polywatch. It's for your acrylic glass because you can scratch it. But if you do, just put a tiny bit of this on it and use your color matching microfiber and buff it out. If the scratch is up and down, just go left and right, filling that scratch, haze it, buff it out, and should be gone. If you get a scratch on the bead blast, it's just going to essentially give it a shinier, polished color. My recommendation is if you ever get, like, you know, let's say you get it on your band, there's a couple things you can do. If you can, you know, separate this off, you can use the green side of a Scotch-Brite and brush up against this around and put some lines in. It would blend in any line you put in there. On the sides, you could go just straight. What is going on outside? I swear it sounded like the snowplow trucks. Like it's October. It's just something dragging up the road. And then just go straight down. And then if you do your clasp, open it, pull this apart, scratch one direction, then flip this down. Just go one. Don't go back and forth. You'll get lines going each direction. So just push it on, push off. So you'd either, because I think if you just do one spot, it could look a little awkward. Granted, there's a line that goes down through this as part of it. But I think if you would do that, you'd want to do your case too. So we're literally talking 3 or 4 passes, and you're like, oh, you got cool lines in there. You got cool lines in there. So if you do that, that's one way to, or you can just leave it. So it's kind of made to go whatever direction you want there. But that's the build. If it's going to you, I appreciate you a ton. I hope you like it. I think it came out pretty awesome. And if you want me to build you something custom and unique, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe as I put them up all the time. Thanks for hanging out, guys.